Hello, thank you so much for joining me. This special scry is for supporters and subscribers, to all those new, to the old OGs, everyone included. Thank you so much for being you. I truly appreciate it, and for holding space for me to share my insights, for being with me for the aura adventures and the surreal stories where we all get to pick and choose which stand out and connect our own dots. I'm truly grateful for you and our consciousness, communications, connections, and creations. So I have an ink blot here. It is contrastual. So we are going to use this ink blot, which is of course made in your name, to scry in a Dreams and Dragons configuration. So this will be fun. And as well, we have Ghost Tube here, Seer, for any visual inspirations that may arise. Please receive or release freely, of course. You know the drill. And if anything does come up, I will bring the camera up to share with you. So, supporters, subscribers, if you would like to open up with me. Otherwise, you can fast forward through. And let's get started. Taking a nice big breath. Closing the eyes, cleansing the palette of perception. Releasing the race and the rush. Activating the abstract mind and ancient awareness to perceive and receive symbolic support. In the name and honor of subscribers and supporters. Thank you for being my muse. Let's go. You know the drill. If you see, sense, or feel anything, please feel well to comment below. I'm just going to share some quick insights that are already stepping through. I'm seeing, when my eyes are closed, like a sign, and there's like kids on bikes, and I say kids, but we're all consciousness kids, whatever the case is. And it was like seeing a campground or a park. Could even be like a cool cemetery. But that's me. I just feel like that's peaceful. Like if you were to see one of those campgrounds, be like, oh, come on in. That's what I feel like we're in right now. Or at least the space that you create with me. So gratitude for that. I'm seeing a lion or a tiger here. There's a lot of strength. Yeah, see, this is like the gates opening up. I see an energy here. And there's like I want to say a shawl, but it's like a shawl of wings, of feathers. And it's not up high like, and it's not down low like, oh. It's like right in this harmonious, almost like a gate, right? Almost like a gate, but it feels like a wave, or the decoration of a fence you might see, almost like a white picket fence, but maybe it's like more wrought iron, but that's okay. And as like these wings come out, it's like feathery lace. Okay. So how this is making me feel, I feel welcomed. I feel welcomed and safe to step forward to this lion or tiger. It could even be a different kind of cat that I'm not entirely sure about. I admit I'm not a feline professional, or, I just don't know. But I also want to note that it's like anything that we've been through. Because I'm seeing the gray like clay, not mud. Yes, mud. You need the mud for the lotus. But this feels like clay. This feels as though, like here where I am, there's clay, and there's a lot of stuff you can do with clay. And it's not competing with the mud of the lotus. That's the interesting thing. This feels like just a different medium to play with in the clay. And then there's also something like I'm seeing like I think it's actually like a mud clay skin thing, like you would see at a spa or something like that. Anywho, I feel happy. I feel excited that I'm here. Like there's like if you come home from work and your dog or your cat is excited to see you. Okay, because I'm seeing felines and canines alike. Also, when I'm in here, I'm seeing somebody sleep. And there's a spirit in there as one is sleeping, let's say in density. There's a spirit stepping up to like check on. It almost feels like a nanny or I feel like there's a different word, or I just simply don't know all the words. Could be a spirit guide. You know, maybe I'll just say spirit guide for the way it's feeling. And they kind of come in and check in where I'm seeing like this, all the Z's. And then I'm seeing like this really, and I think on a phone you can zoom in if I'm not doing great to show this to you. But then I see all these characters. It's kind of like that campground feeling I was talking about, where it's like, oh, let's all go to Camp Stranger Things. I don't know. It doesn't need to be spooky, but you know, you are here, so I'm assuming there's some air of spooky that you appreciate. I'm also seeing what's I think it's Bullwinkle? Rocky and Bullwinkle. Yeah, Rocky and Bullwinkle. Also seeing something about a cast on a foot or an arm, which is interesting. So I don't know if there's any subscribers or supporters out there that have a cast right now, or you're working specifically on healing that and there's a cast around it. Then it's also bringing me into like a mummification of a certain part of an appendage, an offering of extension. And I feel like I'm very focused. Maybe I'm on focus from my elbow to my right hand of giving. And I'm healing or reconfigure. So I'm seeing it like a fracture. Sorry that there's ink and paint all over me, always. A fracture. But this fracture is filled with the gold, which I believe is like a Japanese way of fixing things to actually be more valuable afterwards. So whatever this healing is, I feel like there's gold within it. It doesn't have to be a physical healing. It could also be a fracture in the frequency of giving or receiving, as an example. If it's in the legs, maybe it's like the strength, the courage to take a step forward, your dominant leg to, your companion leg. And now I'm like seeing somebody standing there, maybe at a counter, whatever you're doing, it's like, or pumping gas, and you're noticing the back and forth of putting weight on, or that shifting from left to right. And then it's like I calibrate. And there I am in the center. I'm like, okay, like I can feel the energy directly between, like the bone density is strengthening. The bone density of my being, both dense and divine, if I may, if that must be an error. I'm going to keep going here, but I'm going to start shuffling the dream cards because they are big and chunky and they have a lot of information in them. There's play going on. I'm seeing big beaver tails and squirrel tails. I also feel like this space maybe that we're here together in, this grass space, like there's netting, like some sort of acrobats. And you can kind of surrender into this netting that will catch you. But it's not solid. There's airflow. A lot of supporter and subscribers might also be working with, communicating with spirit, consciousness, aliens, angels, whatever the case is, enhancing your consciousness, connection, and communication, especially if there's anyone who's passed, or you're, stepping back in, whatever the case may be, or you're just starting from here. You're like, you know what? Okay, it's time. There is a net there, and this net isn't because, oh, I need a net. It's actually fun. It's like when you fall, that's the fun part, not in relation to the cast part. That feels more like a mummification and a frequency fracture that's being healed at a higher rate energetically. But it's almost like have fun in the quote unquote fails and falls. I'm also seeing some are tired. And in this tiredness, because I'm seeing like weepy eyes and almost like okay. Brains in the cheeks, which is funny because I don't know, I'm seeing it like brains in the cheeks. It doesn't need to make sense. I'm not going to force it. But I'm feeling a little tired that I'm connected into a brain, like just smiling all the time and like, yeah, I get it. And of course, if you're here with me, it doesn't always make sense. We're wandering Wonderland. right? We wander wonderland. But for me in this feeling, I feel this gratitude and I want to express it, that if you're here, you understand that. It's like lucid dreaming while we're in the awake living space, and we're lucid dreaming together. And maybe you're just, even in some facets of creation and connection, it's like, I'm tired of just smiling and being like, oh yeah. And it's like, no, it's okay to be a little sleepy about it. And it's like that haze, right? Like we're not sleepwalking, like we're waking up out of a slumber, or we're getting ready to go to bed. And it's almost like that in-between state is where the subconscious realm or the other gamma, theta, beta, whatever it is, we can start saying things to ourselves to be like, it's okay. It's okay to fall asleep. It's okay to take a nap. It's okay just to listen. Close the eyes and listen. There's nothing to see. Steph's yammering on. Maybe like a band, like everyone has their part. The viewer, the speaker, even then speaking to yourself. You know what I mean? Everyone has their part. And together it's like an orchestra. Because I'm seeing like, is it Pink Floyd or like Metallica? Because I'm seeing like this band in this card. But you can and do slowly start to tune into maybe just the bass. And you're like, oh yeah, there it is. I'm going to appreciate the rest, but I'm fine tuning into the bass. And then maybe if you want a little more invigoration, you tune into the singer and the octaves of that. And then maybe the drummer. Do you know what I'm saying? This is how it feels like. This is how it kind of feels in our campground, in our consciousness campground of creative chaos and calmness. Yeah, look at, like, even in this card of 66, and 66 may mean something to you, but it's like this little campground with all these fun things to do: education, ceremony of self, speaking, reaching up and out, and this spectrum, right? We're always here in the spectrum. And the many faces that we've been. I meant to, and I will post it out on the community page soon as a poll in regards to something along these lines. Okay, something's opening up here. I'm seeing horse. They're. But it's like da 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 da. There's something. When you arrive here, maybe, again, through this, there seems to be this doorway that we're here together, the young and the old alike, the lifetimes that have been lived. Whether you're 15 and you're already an avid divination seer, artist, whatever the case may be, or you have nothing to do with any of these, but you appreciate yammerings, storytelling of sorts, authentically and awkwardly expressed. I appreciate you. And it's like, yes, it's like this apples and oranges are no longer, the choice. I'm tossing the ball. Number 7 might also mean something to you. And it's like going through, and if you've, like on the community page I've shared before, like thrifters and antiquing, it's like going through other things and being able to create something from something else that maybe has left behind, and being open to receive. In this card right here, see this water that's pouring into these hands? I want to plop that right in there. And look there's so much celebration in you stepping forward, in you being here, and you connecting dots, and you understanding. Oh my goodness, it feels like Pink Floyd. All in all, you're just another brick in the wall. There's fun. It's like peeling back this branches of the bush. It's like I can see these people playing in there, but it makes no sense. And maybe this is how others perceive me. Maybe it's how you feel others perceive you that you make no sense. But that's, it's like in this world of, oh, everyone be authentic and how you're feeling, this, that, or the other, and truly stepping out to be that and say, okay, I'm gonna do that. And you're doing that. You're doing that. I can feel that. And it's almost like that's like the rainbow of light particles floating down. It's not snow. It's light particles. And there's been a gamble. I'll bring this card down. I understand there's a gamble for some. You've had to toss what work do you want to focus on? What work do you want to do? What are you building? It's like chopping down trees and then planting another one. But the time, it's like there's a certain timing that seems to be ideal, if this makes sense. I don't know what this is in relation to, so bear with me. Like, we're just moving on. With the card 11, and I'll bring up the other cards for this in a second that support these cards. It's like not chopping down all the older trees or elder trees and then having just a crop full of young trees. There's something about maybe there's different farms or different tree staggering so that there's always harmony, that the elder trees are supporting a growing tree in whatever context this is in. Maybe your interest is in different things, right? And again, it's like that music thing. And I get to play with that. Like there's science, there's sport. Is it uphill? But you know what's funny? When I see the uphill, I'm seeing there's some sort of hill, like the magnetism of the earth, that even if you put the car, or I think if you put the car in neutral and then like just gravity draws them up or draws them down. I'm pretty sure I'm like seeing YouTube videos in my head about this. That's what it feels like. And now it's like going to Dirty Dancing, where in the movie Dirty Dancing, when they go to the mountains for the summer. And again, it's like that campground feeling, right? There's all these activities. And there's stuff happening in the foreground that's presented. And then there's also things that's happening in the background. And you have access to the forefront and the back front. That's a weird way of saying that, but that's okay. That's okay. So I've taken a gamble. I also feel like there might be some, and I want to extend my gratitude. There might be some in this space that you're sharing the channel. Maybe you're sharing a video that resonated that you think might be great for somebody. And I really, really appreciate that. I really, really appreciate that. Okay, I'm only going to scry from one direction today, but we will definitely scry from another one as well, because I got lots of cards here to add on as well. So we have here reoccurring dreams, more gateways. And perhaps you've been having reoccurring dreams, and it could kind of even come up with like the spinning sensation. You spin me right round, baby, right round, like a record, baby, right round, round. And then dreams of power. All these doorways, the dragons, the dream dimensions, even 4 reoccurring dreams, 4 heads, 4 faces. These are those guardians I saw at the beginning here. It's safe to step through. It's safe to step through. There's so many adventures along the way. And it's like when you were... Do you know what it makes me feel like? And I don't want to be creepy about it again, but I say that a lot. I want to say it's like lucid dreaming, but we're lucid living. Yeah, lucid living. And instead of having to, it's like this card reminds me, I don't know if the lighting will allow it to come through. It's like going through the gates of the afterlife and being met with people that love you and celebrate you. And that you're connected to. And it's not waiting for that to happen. It's we're here, we're lucid, we're living it. And coming together, but still having all these choices of rolling the dice of what we want to apply our attention to. Maybe sometimes it's more sciencey, sometimes it's more sporty, sometimes it's more get out there and exercise and move the physical body. And sometimes it's a matter of gardening, all that kind of good stuff. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I didn't butcher that completely. So these cards, these dream cards come with, I want to call it, I don't even remember what they're called. Sorry. That's what happens when you get decks at an antique store. They come with a Jungian symbology. So I'll bring these up. And if I also remember, I will try and post it on the community tab in case you want to take a snapshot. But in looking at card 66, with the Pink Floyd faces is what I'm going to call this. The wise one, personification. His face is approachable, though not safe. Wisdom, forgetfulness, insight. And maybe this is parts of you that you have forgotten and you're bringing forward. Maybe this is parts of seeing people. It's like, when you see people in dreams, but they're not those people, you're like, oh, that's the face of a stranger, let's say, but it's your mom. Do you know, soulfully, and they might be coming through that expression for one reason or another, so something will be received. I don't know. And your task here is to reflect on your situation, looking for the pattern which shows it as one whole. The prophet, revelation, intuition, and challenge. His keen eyes throw you into self-doubt. And your task is to commit to following more of your intuition and what you say and how you act. And this could also be about knowing your audience, right? You don't want to be pumping gas and then just spouting out, I see light particles. I don't know, maybe you want to do that, but let me know how it goes. There's also the priestess, sacred meaning values. She inspires us with her own devotion to what is greater than herself. And then we also have the teacher of all these archetypes of sorts, the paradox, examples, and skills. His compassionate eyes hint at a longing to live your life for you. This brings me into like that lucid. We're not lucid dreaming, we're lucid living. And then coming into the gates here, wrong camera view, into the gate one, which is card 7, if 7 means anything to you. Synchronicity. A great festival centers at the circular monument. Convergence, meaning, and spiritual. Synchronicity is when events, inner and outer, come together in a common center to give us meaning. Your task is to use synchronicities and choice to bring consciousness to your life. Wow. Spinning synchronicities. Dreams of power and reoccurring dreams supporting this. And the last but not least is card 11. 11, 66, and 7. I feel like these are prominent numbers. If you're a numerologist, please feel free to comment below what that may mean from your perspective. Never holding anyone to the standard of right or wrong, agreeable or disagreeable, free will, and maintaining that space to digest and discern for oneself is always respected. So coming into card 11 is causing. The boy deals the dice, doing, influencing, initiating. To cause, to happen, is to direct energy towards changing something or someone. Your task is to make yourself realistically effective in whatever you do. And there's cards with all these secondary images. So, but again, I'll just post the top one. If those mean anything, it's like as you're going, you step through the initial gates and then you keep going. And there's always a netting. There's always a netting. There's always somebody looking out for you, a higher power. There's the dragon tail right there. You're standing upon the back of the dragon. And it's like the dragon and the flying dog from Neverending Story have merged. And they have merged into one being. So it's like this wonderful, fuzzy, furry, kind, wise dragon. And I'm going in to meet somebody. I think this may be an aspect of oneself or, again, a spirit guide. I'm never overly concerned with determining who it is in this finite space. I'm curious. I'm not going to lie sometimes, but. And when you arise, like the horns go, the whistles blow. Nothing's come up on the ghost tube today, so that's interesting, but that's okay. So adding more dragon oracle cards, we have Dusky Pink Dragon from Andromeda. Prepares all your chakras to embody higher love. Accept and radiate higher love. Touch others with its flame. Well, don't go around touching people, But I think it's kind of like the same way. I'm so funny sometimes. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so I can be so moody and melancholy, and then other times I'm very playful, and I think that's the fun. That's always, rest and fun. But it's like being at the gas station or wherever you are and just like spouting out whatever your third eye insights may be, or your intuitive notions. If you're standing beside somebody at the bank and you're like, I sense oranges around you. It's just, I don't know. I think there's like knowing an audience, or maybe again tuning into the divine time of it all. That's funny. Kuan's Yin Pink Dragon brings firm love that resets your karmic balance. See all your cords dissolved by transcendent love. Enjoy your freedom. Look for the divine around you. I feel like that's... And we were talking about that lotus, but I was seeing it as like branches opening up, but it absolutely... And then look, it's like, like pollen... I'm going to call it like paranormal pollen, but in a fun way, because it's like, it's not even supernatural. It's like the super consciousness, supernatural, whatever we want to call it. And like pollen can be released and grow more and grow more. And then what kind of came out here at the bottom in this, dragon poker hand here is the golden Christed dragon, bringing you higher love so that you embody the Christ light and absorb the Christ light, knowing you are protected. Expand your heart and remain fifth dimensional. Wow. Okay. 5's been a big number for me coming up. So maybe that's 5 reoccurring dreams, maybe 5 lifetimes. It doesn't need to stand out to you, but it is standing out to me. The dark blue galactic dragon helps you listen to the voice of the universe. Ignite the codes of your master blueprint and access cosmic wisdom and enter higher service. So this is the dragon, if I may, that is right here, that is connecting into this energy. There's also another energy here that looks like that mummification. I think it's like revealing your own blueprints through that. And then last but not least, we have the fire dragon that burns up the lower energies around you, knowing you are safe, protected, be determined, and inspired. Clear your soul pathway. And we have here covenant. A deity demands you to complete a trial of its choosing. If you succeed, it will grant nearly any request. If you fail, you're forfeit. These are D&D cards, so fun. So this is what makes me feel like with that protective netting. There's some sort of pressure maybe we've put on ourselves. There's a pressure to be perceived a particular way, also to present ourselves in a certain way. But when we're in this campground, when we're in this playground, the safe space of the channel, the safe space of being curious and connected, and not feeling bad when there's a disconnect as well, and allowing that space to serve someone else. That is wisdom at work. That is wisdom at work. You guys are great. Did I say that? Hopefully I did say that. Okay. I'm going to get ready to close out here with some final dragon little inspirational cards. I want to thank you guys so much for being my muse all the time, for supporting, for subscribing, all that kind of good stuff. You truly warm my haunted heart. So last but not least, thank you. We have here Dragon Sense. You are intuitive, human child. I like how this speaks like from the dragon. And I have them as long as my mom allows me to use her cards. So you are intuitive, human child. You can connect with realms in between and beyond your world. We dragons can heighten and sharpen your natural intuition. Breathe in and feel your every sense awaken and expand. Dragon lesson. There are times when we dragons have been so fierce that we have become fearful. When you too err, acknowledge this. To recognize what does not belong with you any longer is to free yourself. And I feel like we spoke about that a little bit, like when we fall, have fun in the fall, knowing that we're going to land, at least in this context of where we are, right? And this consciousness campground, or even like quantum, I don't know why quantum is stepping forward. That doesn't come up for me very often. And as we fall, it's like we allow other particles to fall away. And that's okay. And we free ourselves from that. And then that's way too many, but thank you. Last but not least, we have Dragon's Delight. Your laughter is music to we dragons. We wish for you the uplifting energy of laughter, making you so light that you too can fly high with us. Subscriber supporters. It's like we're all together in this playground of our reoccurring lucid living of dreams that have power. When we're here together, what we imagine, what we see differently, what choices we opt to say and what we see or how we feel in the story that's stepping forward. And we're not butting heads, we're sharing and knowing that maybe when you retreat and you rest, that is very powerful and purposeful, so that when you do step out and you go do your groceries or you go to work and you feed your family and you clean your house and you balance the books and you merge your big corporations, whatever the case may be, you carry with you the fire of the covenant and you're completing, releasing the lower energies around you and knowing when it's in your lucid living that you're loving it and you are succeeding. Nearly any request and any request that you deem done, it's no longer. It burns away and it goes to a more rightful place. Freedom. Thank you for being you. I will see you again soon.